Yo, everyone, welcome to Fun Speculation Podcast, the FSP episode number 60. Thank you all for watching. It's going to be an interesting show today for sure. We're going to have a big discussion. Probably, I mean, it's going to almost seem like one topic probably until we get to tidbits. That's going to maybe flow into multiple separate discussions within RedFall is kind of how this is going to go, because this was a big release today. I think it's important to have some of these discussions, so we're gonna have them, and we'll see how it goes. But we got a mixed group of opinions, probably a mixed group of feelings on the game as well. So I'm interested to get everybody's take. I've specifically told them not to tell me a damn thing before we went live, so we're trying to figure out how everybody's feeling about it. And I appreciate each and every one of you for watching this content and all of our shows here on Fun Speculation Network. Whether you watch live or later, if you do like what we do here, hit the like button, share this out, sub to the channel, hit the notification bell, and all that cool stuff. It greatly helps us, and I appreciate you guys so much. This will be an interesting one, so some people may not like the conversations. Just throwing it out there. I understand completely, but there probably is going to be some feedback here, regardless. But let's get into this awesome panel. I want to say hi to Fuzzy. What's up, Fuzz?
Hey, how's everybody? Glad to be here with you guys. Man, what a week for Xbox, I guess. But new week, new games. We'll definitely get into it. So I won't hold us up any longer. But man, glad to be here with you guys.
Yeah, thanks, Fuzz. Appreciate you, man. Glad you're able to be here. Psycho, how are you?
I am doing fantastic. Been gaming a little bit here and there. I actually started RedFall before the show, and I went with Jacob. So so far that's been interesting gameplay. So we'll hear my thoughts about it. It might surprise some of you.
Yeah, cool. I'm looking forward to hearing it, man. We'll get everybody's thoughts here in a minute for sure. 3-Bit, how about you, man? How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. I actually got a ton of gaming in this week.
What?
It's nice. What? I know.
You?
Wow.
Game?
Me, yeah.
You figured out how to install the games?
Yeah, I figured out how to turn on the Xbox and use my controller, all that stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
I've been playing Jedi Survivor. I played about 12 hours of it. 11, 12 hours. Like, I haven't been progressing in the story because I just been getting lost, just running around the world doing all the puzzles that I
easy to get lost in that game.
yeah. So I have my thoughts on that, but so far really liking that game. I posted what I thought about the performance and everything on my Twitter, but yeah, pretty good gaming week. And also played Redfall, so I will save my thoughts for that later in the show.
Right on. Thanks, 3-Bit. We'll talk some about Jedi Survivor too, because that's going to lead into one of our discussions we're going to have in a little while, which I've been playing. Jasper, how you doing, man?
Yo, I just got done playing Redfall before the show started a little bit. We'll get into that later again, like everyone else said, and tried to play Survivor. I'm like maybe 5-6 hours in. I can only play it in like short bursts because that game just bothers the shit out of me. So I just put it down for now and went back to the Division 2 is what I've been up to the past few days.
Nice.
So yeah.
I've been splitting my time between Jedi Survivor and Dead Island 2. I streamed both of those games the last 2 days. Dead Island 2 last night, played with Kate. I think the reviews are under appreciating that game so far. I think it's 75 on Meta. And everybody has their opinion. I know Jasper said like a 6.8 or whatever.
That seems about right for reviewers.
Okay.
I'd say.
Yeah. For me, it's like, wow, we actually get a polished experience that's running well and everything works. And it's fun to play and it has an interesting story and the gameplay is fun, I don't know what more we can ask for, So, but we'll get into some of that. Jedi Survivor, talk about it a little later. And I've still been getting in on the show, a lot of the show still. It's like
you gotta just uninstall sports games
No.
to do other stuff.
I can't. It's my it's like my relaxation thing. You know what I mean? Like I just go hit some fucking baseballs, right? Try and do a challenge or something like that, and it's like, yeah, stress melts away. You get some runs
Sometimes
in.
sports games
Yeah,
are
but
pretty good for that.
But see, the thing is, at the end of the year, when Xbox does their annual reviews, like, here's what you played, you're gonna have like 5,000 hours in baseball, and you'd be like, I didn't fucking finish any games this year.
Yeah, I hear you. They are time consuming and very grindy and stuff like that, but it also is playable well in a short burst, right? Which makes it good for me because if I got 30 minutes, I'm not gonna go dive into something like a Jedi Survivor, you know what I mean? But I can go and try and do a challenge, right? A short challenge.
I completely get that, man. I think my most played, when Xbox did that thing where you have your avatar looking at your most played stuff. Mine was WWE 2K, 16. I'm like, what, really? I put that many hours into it. It was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Those are soothing type games where you don't have to think about it that much. You just having a good time.
Earlier this year, I got really hooked into NBA 2K, or last year. And this year so far, it's the show. Traditionally, I've always been a sports game player, but the last couple of years, I'd kind of taken a step back from that. This year, I guess, in the last 6 months, I guess I'm fully back into it. I don't know what's happened to me. But it's all right. I'm enjoying them. I think they've been pretty damn solid so far. Besides that, though, yeah, we got a lot to talk about, everybody. Appreciate you guys showing up. I see Steel Rain in the chat. It's up to our good buddy and brother from another Steel, who maybe he was right about RedFall all along. Maybe he was the one that was right when we were trying to tell him and talk him down from the ledge about RedFall. Maybe he was the one that was correct. But we'll see. We got lots of opinions here. What's up, Boba Fett? How you doing? Dr. Dinglenut, Talos Re, RWK88, Vik The CLiCK, RSJ Fan, Boogeyman. What up, what up? Nola Origins, how you doing? Oh, I see my baby Caitlin there in the chat. Hey, babe. Boba Fett, what's up? What's up? Delusions of Grandeur, what's going on? OCD Gamer, how you doing? Alvin, how are you? Tom from Toonami, what up? I see our good friend Bob, GamePassDad, hanging out as well. Sappho was first in the chat, followed by Fuzzy. Good attempt to be first, Fuzzy. You were close. So, biggest thing to discuss today is there was a big release, a highly anticipated Xbox first-party game. I will say that again. Yeah, it is a first-party game. I already saw people yesterday starting to say, but it's Bethesda. It's the Xbox doesn't have any control, stuff like that. And I'm like, well, I just put it out there before the reviews actually hit that we can't say Starfield is our first party game, that Xbox is going to help these games be better. Xbox has control of making these games exclusive or different situations like that, and then discount them when they aren't great, right? Because we want to try and separate ourselves from the brand, like it's a tarnished thing, so we can't have any association with it. It doesn't work that way. You got to take the good with the bad, right? And the part of the conversation is be like, what's going on with it? Why is what's happening with the scores, and what's our individual impressions of it, which I can't say anything yet on my individual impressions because I have not played it. As I've said before, Redfall, I wanted to wait and play so I can play at 60 frames per second with the update that I know is coming. Jasper gave me some encouragement that it's maybe possible that I can maybe get close to that on my PC. So I'm going to try after the show and install it on my PC and see how it goes. If that's possible for me to get that game at 60 frames on my janky-ass PC, there's no excuse for that performance mode not to be there at launch, but we'll see. We'll see if I'm able to play it at that or not. But yeah, let's get around the table for everybody that's played it. I know you're holding off, right, Fuzz?
Yeah, I'm going to give it a try after the show. I was about to start it up, and there was an update for Undisputed, and I'll probably put some more time into that. But Yeah, I was going to hold out for 60 frames, but I think I'll at least test it out to see what everybody's complaining about for myself, kind of thing.
Yeah. Has Undisputed, is it getting updated well? Because I know you had some critiques about the stamina and stuff like that when that game launched. Did they
Yeah,
get that ironed out yet?
not entirely. Like they're making small improvements as far as movement and things like that. Like the big drawback is each punch should have a different amount of stamina cost. And right now, if you do 3 jabs, it's the same stamina as if you do 3 heavy hooks, which the whole reason why they did the arm fatigue is to prevent people from spamming hooks because they do so much damage, and you could throw like endless ones in the beginning of the game for like the online stuff. But for at least for single player, that should be, I won't say lifted, but jabs, you should be able to throw 5. And even if you switch arms, it still seems like some of the arm fatigue, which they said, oh, just switch arms like after 2.
Jello arms after
Yeah,
like a
it's
few
like
hits.
by the time you throw that 3rd punch, you could probably get hit by your opponent 2 times before you even make contact. So it's
That's
like,
why you got to start hugging.
Yeah.
but but they have a while before it'll come to console, and hopefully they get a lot of that stuff fixed. But they're at least trying. Although it looks like they may be losing the battle to, cheaters online with, some people are running trainers or whatever to, unlimited stamina and all this other craziness. But, at least they're, for a small team, they're doing their best to kind of keep their head above water on that.
Yeah.
And still, add boxers, add modes, add rings and things like that. So
right on, man. Well, I still haven't checked that out, but if it ever comes to console, it's not on console yet, is it?
no, not
Yeah,
yet.
if
Just
it ever
Steam
comes to
early
console,
access.
I might give it a shot.
Yeah, because I miss the boxing games.
Yeah, Fight
and
Night needs
stuff.
to come back.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
was the only good one.
Yeah, if Fight Night comes back, I'm day one, 100%. And I know there's a lot of people out there that agree and said they did all those UFC games that were really complicated and it's not as good.
Well, you could do stand and bang in some of the UFCs. Like I actually prefer UFC 3 to UFC 4 just for stand and bang. That was like the closest thing to a boxing game in recent years type of deal.
Stand and bang. What's gonna happen if I put that in my Google search bar?
Just make sure safe search is on.
Download UFC 3 and go to
Okay,
that
don't
mode.
put it in.
Don't search that.
Don't try and look up stand and bang mode on Google, everybody. Might find some interesting pictures of Fuzzy showing up. Psycho, you've been playing some Redfall.
Yes, sure.
You've pretty early on, according to Jasper, extremely early on. But in Psycho time, you've extended that somehow. So
Yeah.
What's your initial impressions of Redfall?
Yeah, so far I made it to the fire station, which is your first safe house. No spoilers because it tells you where to go after the the events of what happens in the beginning of the game. So of course with a game like this, I'm looking everywhere to see anything hidden, seeing what the is, because there was a locked door in this place. I won't give it away. so there's a locked door, and I went halfway through the map to get to the fire station, found a key, had to go backtrack and to unlock the door, and it gave me a couple weapons, which was pretty cool. But so far, I'm actually having fun. It is at 30. I'm not getting because sometimes 30 FPS games give a little nauseous. Probably explained a lot last generation, but I'm right now I am having fun, but it does feel like something is just off. The story so far, they had Arcane has something with this game. Really cool premise. I can tell the story. They have a really, really enriched universe in Redfall. It just something is not like there is something that you can feel that is just something is off about this game. And I it probably a little bit later in the game, after tonight, I'll probably figure it out. So this way it really opens up story wise, and maybe it's the threat of enemies, because I don't feel threatened by what I've encountered so far. There are a couple pop shots in the head, they're dead. And I'm like, okay, I just took out a vampire. And that was like, all right. I thought there was more of a fight, and I'm playing on dusk, so that is normal, I guess, the default. There's one below that was easy. Then you have Eclipse, not Eclipse,
it's Nightmare, or Midnight, or something like that. Midnight, maybe.
Midnight.
Yeah, I think it's Midnight, and then
Midnight,
Eclipse.
and then Eclipse. Eclipse, you have to beat the game to unlock that difficulty mode. But yeah, it's just what I've played so far. It's just I don't know. I can't put my finger on it at the moment, but it just what I have been experiencing so far. It's good story wise. Environment looks gorgeous. Yeah, it's just all I have to say is you need to try the game out. This is for everybody in chat and on the panel. Try the game out for yourself. Don't listen to the critics. Don't listen to, what people have said so far. Just try the game out and experience it.
Yeah, don't listen to what I'm about to say.
Well, no, it's because if you go in there with a
preconceived expectations, or
yeah,
what I mean?
if you go in there just I'm okay, let me see how this game is going to play out, you will then draw your own conclusions relatively quickly of the experience. I'm going to try playing with co-op, see how that is later, because I'm playing solo and I have nobody from the team that is like I said, I just got to the fire station, so maybe a little bit later in the road that will pop up. But at the moment, that is not the case. I do not have the other three characters with me, because I think they said that is NPCs, correct? From what I hear, that play with you, correct?
I think it's just you, unless you play co-op.
Okay.
Yeah.
What game am I thinking of that had the other players? I thought it was Redfall, but I could have.
Because they were like, it's mostly like the Arcane thing. Like they wanted to build it as like a single player game, but it just happens to have like other people. But
I might be thinking of another game that allows you to have the other four characters that you can play with. But right now it's just myself. I went with this Jacob, the sniper, because I wanted to pick off zombies from long distance.
Zombies,
the other,
huh?
Yep.
Oh, goddamn vampires! And because the thing is, with the other players, their abilities are more for cooperative, even though, like what you said, that they built it for a single player experience. But like,
see, I felt like Jacob, because of his sniper ability, I felt like he was the worst choice, because if the vampires are fast and getting up in your face, the last thing you want is a sniper rifle.
Well, you have your assault rifle because you're gonna have 3 weapons on.
I usually choose snipers in games.
I do too, but
I
just knew that the vampires were going to get in your face, and having a sniper rifle wouldn't be the best idea.
Apparently,
so
you can just punch them 3 times and they die.
I shot him. Well, the vampire that was in the
what people are saying in the chat anyway.
In the building, I shot him like 6 times.
Yeah,
twice in the face, and then the rest in the body.
I chose Lila, or whatever her name is, because she has a movement ability, so you can get on roofs easy.
Yeah,
that's
who I was thinking of going with right off the rip. But I was like, let me go with Jacob. So that's who I went with. But the other 2 characters, I don't know, man. That they're like, their abilities did not like, ooh, I want to play as him. Like
Devin or whatever his name is. I can't think whatever
Yellow?
his name was. Yeah, the yellow dude. I think he's more like crowd control, just like holding
Yeah.
zombies off at bay and stuff.
Yeah, so
He's got me calling them zombies, not vampires.
see,
Vampires. We're so used to
It's-
zombie games. Like, I mean, we don't get very
Psychonauts
many
effects.
vampire games, right?
no, that's
Um,
true.
So yeah, I'll just kind of flow that into my experience. I played about an hour of it, and man, so one of the early engagements.
What are you
I
playing?
was
You're
just-
playing on PC or Xbox?
I'm playing on PC, 1440p native, no FSR or any of that. Epic settings. I'm getting like 80 to like 65 FPS in between there.
And what is your graphics card? Your 30?
It's an ARC A770.
Okay.
It's a graphics card no one's ever heard of because it's a new thing.
Okay. Right on.
Anyway, so one of the engagements, I was just kind of fighting some cultists in the woods, and I killed all of them but one, and one of them like ran to take cover. And as soon as he got behind a tree, he lost line of sight from me, and he just instantly went back to his patrol mode. He's like, "Oh, I can't see him anymore. There's nothing happening around me," and just started.
That happened to me several
Really?
times.
That
Yeah.
is so weird.
I don't know. Like I usually with these type of games, I get the experience where people will like, well, it was fine for me, and then the other person's like, it's completely broken. I had the broken experience, but
Another later experience with the AI is I was on a roof, and there was like a door exit, and I ran up the roof, and all the enemies were coming up the roof after me. The first guy that got there threw a Molotov and just hit the door frame, and then all the AI ran through the door and catching on fire from the AI's Molotov. So I didn't have to fight any. So the AI is. There's also a vampire that teleported in front of me and didn't see me somehow. I was literally 4 inches in front of me with my flashlight shining on him. I shot him, nothing happened, and he just teleports away.
Yeah. So would you consider those bugs or just poor AI or?
I think the AI is poor, but since the AI is so poor, it makes the game kind of boring. It's like there's nothing like really going on. There's nothing like reacting to you. It feels like
not threatening, I guess.
Yeah. So I think the biggest problem for me is just the overall AI being so stupid that it causes the game to be like, well, there's no like risk or there's no challenge. It's just like
Did you say what difficulty you're playing on? Are you playing on normal or hard or?
Yeah, just dusk.
Okay,
which is normal.
I wonder if ramping up the difficulty would be good for this game. If that would help the AI at all.
Probably not.
I don't know.
Just looking for
relies on
suggestions.
scaling.
Yeah. I also noticed that running down some alleyways, there was like some buildings that were like intersecting with each other, and like you could see through the back of the alleyway that you couldn't run down, that building was floating. So like some of the map is a little janky. But I'm not too far into it. Like I said, just an hour, so there could be some improvements, but probably not. I'll keep playing it, see how it goes. So
performance wise, like optimization, besides bugs or poor AI, like is it running really smooth for you? Like is there like a lot of like weird stuff going on, or is it like pretty polished? It was as far as
I have had a few dips, just like kind of when you go over a hill and you see like the entire city like lay out before you, like you'll get like a big drop.
Right.
But other than that, it's not too bad.
And it hasn't been.
It was pretty good.
Below.
Pretty good for me. Like it only started dipping like whenever fire was involved, or whenever it was like a lot of enemies. That's usually when it started to dip. But I do have a 3090 to caveat. But overall, it was pretty decent. I had a lot of bugs. That's the thing. Like I felt like I was playing an early alpha game because I fell through the level. I had enemies like start attacking me, and then all of a sudden they're just like that, and then they just start walking away as if we weren't just having an encounter. Like I was like, I was shooting at you, and all of a sudden you're just like, I don't want to fight you, and then they just like walk off the screen. I've had like, I should have recorded most of the bugs I had, because I had like probably more bugs than what other people have experienced, because I feel like that usually happens to me.
Oh, I did. I think I may have had one. I'm not sure if it was like part of a quest or something. There was like this tower on a roof that was glowing, and they had like these 3 batteries laid out, and I shot them all, but one of them I shot just like its hitbox never went away. So like I wasn't sure if I was clearing the tower, if I just needed to come back to it. So I could be bugged. It maybe not. I don't know.
Right. So both of you are saying bugs is an issue right now.
Yeah, it was for me. Like, I don't know what your guys' experience was, but like, I feel like I experienced a lot of.
And granted, this is also in a very short time span because y'all have both only had a couple hours to play this, right? So
I only played it for about an hour. So I got to like there was like a generator thing,
right? So we're talking about bugs that y'all have already experienced only in a short play session and already have this amount to talk about.
Yeah. So I can't imagine what it will be like.
So I'm just putting that in perspective, right? Like, you know, obviously the game could get better also, right?
It could. That's why I like the thing is usually the intro is the most polished though. That's what kind of worries me. That I'm experiencing in the beginning. And also most PC games I play, I just have bad luck, I guess. Usually they are pretty buggy.
Hold on, we have a controversy. There's a controversy stirring right now. Grim Jr. says one of them literally said they had a lot of bugs, and the other one said he didn't even know if the one bug he had was a bug. So we have are there bugs or are there not? This is a huge thing because he's pointing out I'm lying or I'm putting words in your mouths.
I'll put it this way. You can decide if this is a bug. There was 3 car batteries on this roof that was connected to this tower thing. I shot 3 of them. 2 of them, the red hitbox around it went away. The third one I shot blew up, but the red hitbox was still there, acting like I still needed to shoot it, and the tower never went offline. So is that a bug? I don't know. It could just be a glitch. It could be something else. Could just be some random thing in the world. I don't know.
Me falling through the world, I guess, is a bug. Me shooting a vampire, and then all of a sudden he decided he didn't want to fight anymore. He was like, I guess he was like a peace vampire. Is that a bug or a feature? I don't know. You guys tell me. That was what I'm
just trying to get clarification for Grim Jr. here because I don't want to mislead anybody on what's a bug or what's not a bug. You know what I mean? Because it's apparently it's extremely important. So
yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I was like going into this episode. I was like, whenever we talk about stuff like this, I don't want to be afraid to be like, here's my opinion, because I am a fan of Xbox, right? I am a huge fan of Xbox. But it feels like every time we have some of these episodes, there's always like a comment like, oh, you guys are talking negative, you're just bashing. Like, this is what I genuinely experience. Like, I can't help that I fell through the world and had these experiences. Like, you know, this is generally what I experienced playing this game. Arcane, like I have high expectations for this specific team just based on what they provided in the past.
I also pointed out a floating building, but I guess he didn't hear that one.
It's okay.
I mean, yeah. It just needed more time, a lot more time in the other.
I'm just giving him a hard time.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
See, I haven't experienced any bugs. I'm on Series X.
Yeah,
they're on PC
at the 5-minute mark, apparently.
So I'm at the goddamn fire station. All right, I'd like to look and explore. That's what I do with these style games.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm like, ooh, shiny.
Because it's kind of like the Borderlands. So you got to see. Sometimes they'll have either a loot box somewhere hiding that has that one really kick-ass weapon that you can use at that moment until you find the next one. But I'm not experiencing any bugs. I haven't fell through the world yet. But I will when I find the 3 batteries at whatever point you were at, Jasper. I'll see if I have the same incident. If not, maybe sometimes.
Yeah, maybe I just have to. Maybe it's part of another quest, and you have to come back there. And I was just like too early or something. I don't know. Like,
or it could be a PC issue, you know, not a console. Because sometimes that shit happens. You know, like the PC version of Star Wars is fucked versus, you know, console side. The console is just not really really good optim. I haven't played it, so I don't know, but I've seen people play, but I don't know. The so far the experience I've had is decent. Again, like something is there that is just feels off, and but they have a really good substance there with the story. Like
also, I don't know if you experience this, but like my character has said the same fucking voice line probably 12 times, and it's pissing me off. It's like as soon as you kill a vampire, she's like, "Oh, I can't get this dust off me." Oh, it's every fucking vampire he kills. I can't get the dust off me. It's like, shut the hell up.
Wow. Yeah, I can see how that would get annoying. Yeah. And you're, I forget which character you are, Jasper.
Lila.
Okay, Lila. And Layla.
I'm Jacob.
Jacob and 3-Bit.
And I'm Lila.
I was gonna pick the
or Layla.
Remy, I think is his name. The guy that has like the
dog.
Yeah. So when I play it, I don't know. Like I said, I'm gonna try and install it on my PC and see if I can get like if I can get 45 to 50 frames, and it's like as good as Jedi Survivor is running on my Series X right now. I'm okay with that. I ain't playing at 30. I started Jedi Survivor. I've been playing in performance mode. It's got a lot of issues as well. Yeah, but I put it in quality just to see. Like, is it? Everybody's saying the quality mode's great, so I'm gonna try it. I tried it, and it took me 5 to 8 seconds to turn that shit off as fast as possible because I felt it was just horrible for me experiencing 30 frames. So I refuse to play this game at 30. Right. So both of your guys' experiences were at higher frame rates because your PCs are pretty beastly.
Yeah, I have pretty like 60. Actually, I had like 80, I think.
Yeah,
80.
You got a 3090 though, right? I mean, not the average gamer is going to have that. To be fair,
no.
However, that being said, that is better than Jedi Survivor's PC performance to this point on those same graphics cards. Psycho's been playing on Series X. Has the frame rate been bothering you locked at 30?
It not as bad as what's that? Not Vermintide. That one Warhammer game you were playing. That
Necromunda or whatever.
Yeah, like that 30 was so fucking bad.
Well, when it launched, it had that had a different issue, Psycho, because that wasn't even just like a 30 frames thing. It had like a frame stuttering issue. So it would literally made me almost like throw up, like, almost pass out. But they patched it a couple weeks later and ended up being way better.
No, this 30, you can't tell it's at 30 because it's not smooth like butter. It just you can feel the slight hesitation when you're kind of like turning around real quick. Because the sensitivity on the controller is like fucking ultra. It's like you whip around and I'm like, okay. And that kind of that messes with me a little bit. But when I'm just standing, if I'm just looking forward and moving, it's not so bad. It's just when I spin around. So I know that I'm not going to be able to play this for long extended times. I'm going to have to take breaks just because I don't like that nauseous feeling from experiencing that at 30 FPS. Some people get that, some people don't, but that's what I'm experiencing. And I wish we had it. Would have been nice if they did have the performance mode, and even if it wasn't at a lock 60 and it was like a 40 or 45 or something, that would have been good. They could have dropped the fucking 60 FPS patch.
45 on Xbox.
OCD Gamer said, "Great graphics if you take motion sickness meds."
Actually, I haven't mind the graphics or art style. It's all right. Like, not really a problem for me.
Not every game has to have like the realistic style, right? Like at all. The strange thing is usually if a game looks like this artistically, it usually doesn't. Runs better. It usually is able.
This game has no excuse, like when I was actually talking, and me and Jasper and there, we were just talking in the chat about like game performance as of late, and what we were kind of discussing is how a lot of modern developers are kind of brute forcing their games to rely on like powerful hardware to optimize. They're like, oh, we got powerful hardware now. Let's let the game optimize it for us. That's what it really feels like lately. Because they're like, oh, we got Xbox Series X is 12 teraflops. You got the PS5. Let's not optimize the game. Let's just sort of just let the Series X go. It could do it. It could do pretty well, and then the PS5 could do well with these latest games like Jedi Survivor. It's come out recently, and they're all on Unreal Engine 4, which is interesting. And they are just not very well optimized experiences, and I feel like I absolutely hate the fix it later mentality to begin with. It never ends well, in my opinion. Like, you're like, oh, we'll release it now, fix it later, especially if it's multiplayer focused. But as soon as Redfall was announced, like, hey, this is gonna be 30 frames, I was like, uh-oh. It was like one red flag. And yeah, I'm hoping as I progress through Redfall, like, there will be more of that arcane flavor that I like in arcane games. I am sort of seeing it early in through my only played for, again, like an hour, so things
Yeah, to
could
me, there's
change.
just like no emotion in the game. It feels like it's like
Yeah,
I
it
have
doesn't
no
feel like
connection
Arcane
to
made
like
it.
I have like no connection to like any of the characters or like the world or anything. It's like it's cool that it's vampires and shit, but it's like it seems like just kind of flat.
You feel like there's something hollow, like that doesn't
Yeah.
make you get engaged or whatever.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
Sometimes games will do that. Like you're just missing something that really grabs you, and you feel like you're just playing an experience or whatever, playing like a piece of technology or something, and it's like, and you're not like really invested into it. And like I said, I can't really talk on it too much because I haven't played it yet, but I can see what's happening out there, and it's not good for Xbox. This is an epic fail of mass proportions. Big first AAA new IP from Bethesda to launch.
This game was heavily marketed too. Like, we were complaining
Big
like,
time.
hey, Xbox needs to market it better, or market their games better. And this is the first game you're like, hey, we're starting to see billboards and stuff of it, and you're just like, wow, like, it does not feel good. Like, I believe the quality standard for whenever a game comes out of Xbox Studios, like, it needs to be held to a high standard. So, when you're getting an Xbox Game Studios game, it has all these great features. It's 60, it's polished. None of the fix it later mentality. Like, if it's coming out of Xbox Game Studios to some degree, there needs to be like a standard of quality. If you need to delay it like an extra year, I don't care how long you have to delay it, really. That's always been my mindset. Like, delay it until it's ready to show.
Yeah. And that's on Microsoft, right? Like, for me, like, I can't say, well, Bethesda should have delayed. No, like, Microsoft, when they acquired Bethesda, they're the ones that made the decision, hey, this games are going to be exclusive, right? They're the ones that have given other devs more time. They're the ones that have put the window in their showcase last year of this 12-month thing that they did, right? They're the ones that make the budgets overall for the entire company and stuff, and they overall the buck stops at with Xbox, right? Like, so in Microsoft, like, you can't celebrate these games and market these games and say they're a huge part of your ecosystem, and then if something isn't right, blame the people that made it, or blame them. It doesn't work. It doesn't work that way.
You can't be like, it was like, oh, this doesn't count as Xbox's saying, like you were saying, Matt, before we started the show, like, everything going forward, Bethesda, Starfield, including Starfield, Hi-Fi Rush, all that is underneath Xbox's umbrella. now that it is underneath their umbrella, there needs to be like some quality control coming out of the studio. And I'm seeing some comments that we're hating on Xbox.
I mean, Xbox hasn't had quality control in a while. Have you seen Halo Infinite?
I know, but that's hard.
But like when Halo Infinite
it's kind
launched,
of like an industry issue at this point, because like even with Jedi Survivor, like I've put a good amount of hours into that, and like the performance mode isn't a performance mode. And what bothers me most is like when you compare it to Fallen Order, they had a performance mode that at least was graphically appealing. Even their quality mode looks like crap. Like on the Series X. Like I'm gonna be honest,
like Survivor looks worse than Fallen Order.
Yeah, I do too.
It definitely does. Even in quality mode. Like in quality mode, it still drops frames. It still looks like the best way to put it, it looks like a last gen game, and it shouldn't on a Series X when Jedi, Fallen Order looks the way it did after it's. I mean, granted, it got some updates, a boost, and all that stuff, but this one looks like this came out before Battlefront 1. Like, I don't understand how.
I don't know if it's that bad.
They don't catch the same.
It's pretty rough, man.
I don't understand how they don't get the same flack.
Yeah,
that's the same smoke.
Exactly what I wanted to point out. First, let's transition here, right? Because, like, we had already talked about this with the hypocrisy out there with game reviews and stuff. And like, I'm going to say this, like a lot of the reviews point out that that Redfall has more issues with it than the poor optimization than the bug and the bugs, right? There's a lot of issues like the Jasper's talking about, like AI is missing something. It's not a very fun game to play right now, and all these things take into account. Whereas Jedi Survivor has a lot of those things, right? Like in place, but
I would say Jedi Survivor has more game-breaking bugs in it too.
Right.
Like
the issue,
Redfalls are just kind of like there.
The issue I have to Fuzzy's point is that Jedi Survivor, if you look through all the reviews and stuff, you will hardly ever see any mention of any of the bugs or poor optimization, which come to find out at launch day was one of the worst poorly optimized PC games this generation. Also has serious issues in performance mode on consoles, and also some issues even in quality mode on console. I've been playing in performance mode. I am still being able to play the game because it's not 30 frames. I mean, playing mostly at like 50 or whatever it's hovering around at, right? But it's blurry as shit. Like it is
drops below 720p.
There's pixelation all over the place. There are some audio bugs and other weird things that happen. And you can look at all the reviews and there's like shit tons of them. And like none of them mention this stuff. However, if you look at Redfall's reviews today, almost every single review you see points out to the poor optimization and poor polished state that the game is in. Right. So I don't understand how, even though just because a game you deem is good gets a pass and no acknowledgement of all the shitty optimization, the releasing unpolished, releasing all this stuff, how you don't mention it at all, right? But then this game comes out and you don't like the game as much, right? But now you make a point to point all that other stuff out. And to say that that doesn't have a reflection potentially on the score as well, I would think it probably has some, right? So with Redfall, here's the thing. You can't really look at the reviews and say, is the game for you? Are you going to like it or not, right? Now, this should not ever be used as a crutch by Xbox. You should deliver quality regardless. But thankfully, with this game, there is Game Pass. So you can try it if you want to, or you can be like me and wait or try it on PC. I'm going to see if I can do that. But like Jedi Survivor, you can't do that at all. You know, you got to pay $70 to play that shit. And a lot of people bought that game based on the reviews that's sitting all like holy, like in the high 80s and lots of 9s and like close to perfect scores and stuff, where it's like one of the most broken games released this generation so far. Now, not everybody has the same experience.
You could get EA Play on PC for $15 a month and play it, but if you had two graphics cards, you're like, maybe this one runs better.
But that's also supposedly the worst place to play. Now, and not everybody's going to have the same experience, right? But like what you can see is like a lot of reports from people about how broken it is. And based on what you guys are saying and based on what we're seeing from Redfall released in a more polished state than Jedi Survivor, despite maybe some of the bugs that Redfall's having, right? So how come there's a double standard out there with games, and like some games get free passes and Redfall doesn't? Now, I'm not saying that automatically makes Redfall a good game, but it's glaring because these are two big releases that just happened within a week of each other, right? And what's everybody been talking about this past week is Jedi Survivor's issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
And no mention of it in the reviews. Now Redfall, you know, even though the embargo was up today late, Open Critic even like threw some shade at that. It was pretty funny, but the embargo was up late. All the reviews mentioned this stuff. So why? I just don't understand it. Like, if anybody can explain to me why reviewers care about optimization and bugs in some games and they don't care about them in others, please explain it to me.
Star Wars IP. That's about the only thing I can think of is why it got leeway. And then on the flip side of things, it's almost like the Xbox tax.
See, I personally don't think it's the Xbox tax thing. Like, I think Star Wars got the pass because it's a major IP from a major studio, and they were promised a patch. So they're like, okay, we'll give them a little leeway.
Well, we're promised a 60 frames mode as well on Redfall.
See,
you know
that's
what I mean?
the problem. Redfall, the communication already started before the game even launched that there was going to be issues because Redfall themselves came out and said, hey, there's issues. We can't get ready. So already set in the back of everyone's mind was Redfall has issues. So people going forward, when they do start writing the reviews, they know that that's at the forefront. It's like Redfall has issues. So they're going to put that in there.
Yeah. Like Game Informer gave Jedi Survivor a 9.25. I read the entire review. No mention of any of the issues that Jedi Survivor has. Right. But
that was
High on
kinda
Life,
to me.
they mentioned all of the issues that it had. And it didn't even have that many issues. You know what I mean? And they gave it like a 5.75. And that's a pretty okay game. It's like, I'm just saying, like, it's
I mean,
interesting.
PC Gamer gave it like a 9 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10, something like that. And then the next day wrote an article saying, Star Wars is broken. There's so many issues. It's like, what the fuck?
Well, exactly. I get, you can say one game's good, one's bad for all the other reasons, but you can't have that as a criteria and then discount it from other games, right? Like, it's just I think it should count for all games. I'm sick of these games releasing unpolished, unfinished.
I agree. I just feel like that's what what I said was kind of why it happened.
Yeah, for sure. And I said, I can play these games and decide to like enjoy them despite the issues. Like, I'm still enjoying Jedi Survivor, but do I feel like it's deserving of the no mention of any of those issues? No, I'm playing the game and I literally am experiencing the issues that the reviews failed to mention. But Redfall, you know, I decided to. I wish they had a performance mode like Jedi Survivor, to be honest with you, even if it's buggy, because I would be playing it on Series X. But it's not the case.
I played about like 11 hours of Jedi Survivor, and I had some bugs that hindered my progress, and you know that really sucked.
I just can't get over the fact that every time I play that game, Cal looks like he's in the middle of a Thanos snap.
It's dematerializing.
Like, when you guys were talking about like the graphics and stuff, like the first game, what I kind of a pet peeve of mine in the first game was how he always seemed lit, even in an environment where there's shadow. Like there was some weird gamma thing, and I think Digital Foundry actually pointed it out. It was something I really hated in the first one, where he always looked lit up, even if it was dark, and he looked gray all the time, and it had this blurry look that sometimes Unreal Engine games have, where things like load in and looks like clay sometimes. But and I think what some people are mentioning, like, hey, the first game ran better, but what people kind of forget about is the first game, it took them a year or so to even patch it. It was like a year and 7 months to even do that next gen patch. To be fair, the next gen consoles, they released like 2020. I think it released like a couple months before the next gen consoles came out. So next gen consoles came out, and then they took about a year or so for that to happen. I hope it doesn't take a year for them to fix. There's a fix coming tomorrow for Jedi Survivor.
I mean, usually the first patch doesn't really do much, so
yeah.
They said they're fixing performance stuff. We'll see. You know, I really do hate the fix it later mentality. I really wish developers, like, day one, it just works, but that's not how modern game development is seeming to go, as we are evidence. That's why games like what Mav was saying with Dead Island is like working. Like, we need to start giving props to games that actually come out where it's polished, it's 60 frames, it has what we expect out of a AAA game. We need to start really praising experiences like that. Like, maybe a few bugs here and there, but overall, game shipped, it's somewhat worth 70. I don't think any game's worth 70, but hey, you buy it, $70, it's polished, you have a decent experience. Like, that's what should be the substandard for games nowadays. But I feel like a lot of developers, they get the money up front, you pay however many bucks for it, and they're like, okay, we'll fix it later. And the weird thing about Jedi Survivor was that the fact they didn't mention any performance things, and they kind of just trusted the developer's word. I just feel like that's so weird to me. Like, isn't your job as a reviewer to base your review on the experience that you have? Like, to me, that's just weird. Like, to be like, oh yeah, I'm basing my experience off of what is to come. Like, I don't think that you're doing your job as a reviewer if you're basing it on something that's going to eventually be there. But I also get like the fact that it's going to be fixing a day one patch, but it's so weird to me, like the mentality like that they even have to fix it on a day one patch rather than when they play it, it's a good polished experience.
Yeah, like
it just shows me that they want to get that game out there. But
Dead Island 2 is fantastic. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, it had a long development cycle, but like the last team rebuilt that game up,
and no one is talking about how the fucking mirrors in Dead Island 2 don't work. But every other fucking game, it's like, oh, it's a fucking mirror gate. It's like, you don't have a fucking reflection, these goddamn mirrors.
I will say I could give a shit less about the mirror. I will say though that some people are saying, well, it doesn't have ray tracing. Since when did we have to have ray tracing to have reflections and mirrors in games? I've been getting reflections and mirrors in games since like the fucking original Xbox and PS2 days. I was like, hey, I remember way I was back then. I was like 15 years old. Look at that! It's a fucking reflection of myself in a mirror, right? And now I'm almost 40. And it's like some games still don't have it. People are like, oh, it's because ray tracing's not in it. Well, what did they use 20 fucking years ago to make it happen? I don't know. Is there some kind of crazy technology that got lost in the void? However, I could give a shit less than that because it only affects when I look in a fucking mirror. Yeah, it doesn't affect the rest of the entire experience when I'm running around or actually just moving or shooting a gun or swinging a weapon or whatever. Like, a lot of these issues that these games have get way blown out of proportion, right? I remember the whole watermelon gate with Halo Infinite's multiplayer, right? Yep. And it's like, who gives a shit at that? Am I going to stop in the middle of a multiplayer match and go and get some fucking target practice on some watermelons and judge how the physics operate versus Call of Duty? Oh, but this one doesn't. No, we look at it for the experiences that we're getting, right? When Redfall had the announcement of the delay of the performance mode, right? They said, we're going to add it later without any kind of answer to when that later is, right? Is it soon later? Is it 8 years from now later? I don't fucking know, but it's later, right? Mm-hmm. Without any context or anything like that, there was cause for concern. And that was enough for me at that point to say, I'm going to wait.
Released a year. Like, this is after a year delay.
Yeah.
Like, that to me is insane.
I won't play it at 30 frames. A first person shooter. Like, I mean, come on. Like, in this day and age now, I'm not for that. I want to enjoy the game that I'm playing. I don't want to cringe all the way through it and have to take my motion sickness pills.
I don't think frame rate's the problem with this game.
But that's the other thing. It seems like this game also goes beyond that. It's also got just not funness issues or whatever it is. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what it is. I gotta look at it. But it's currently sitting at I think it's a 64 on Meta and a 66 on OpenCritic right now. Which is, hey, I've enjoyed lots of 65 games, right? So I'm not. If you enjoy Redfall, and if you want to try it, I highly recommend. Don't just read the reviews and stuff. Play it and see what you think of it. It might be your game of the year. Jasper liked Crossfire X, and that's a game's.
I was going to say this game is on par with Crossfire X for me.
Okay, I've been waiting for a vampire game for a long time. Like, there's not a lot of vampire games out there, so I was, I was rooting for this one. I want more vampire games. I hope this is a catapult to other.
Yeah, I mean they like I've been saying they have something here. It's just that they
Wasn't
whatever could very well be, man. If they left things out, I hope that the team, if Arcane and Xbox Bethesda, are you guys listening right now? If you guys gonna go back to this game, please put in whatever you left out to really flush out this experience. So yeah, you might have a bad launch, but down the road you can have a great experience like Sea of Thieves, Halo Master Chief Collection, things like that start off rough but ended up well. And I hope that they do that with this, because
there's like
could be
two people
really
from
special.
Bethesda watching this show right now, so please give your honest critiques.
I'm wondering if this game was supposed to be a live service game and they were just like, we can make it a live service game, but it will have to be like 2 more years away, or we can get it out this year and it won't be a live service game. So they're like, well, I guess get it out this year because we don't have much and we want to show off. So
the fact that
at that point,
yeah, go ahead, Fuzz.
I was going to say at that point, what do you guys think would be a better approach? Do you think if it did like what Grounded and was in early access, do you think that would have possibly, not necessarily softened expectations, but at least allowed for the feedback early on to kind of help not really steer the ship, but
yeah, but then we run the risk of every game launching in this early access state to get around that kind of criticism.
But I think Redfall could have done it if they just focused on like one zone, because I know there's supposed to be multiple zones in the game that you can go to. Like if they would just like release chapter 1, it's just like the city, and then like 6 months later, chapter 2, and then you go to the farm or whatever. I think they would have had more time to focus on individual zones instead of just.
Right. They did make a big deal about how big this game is and stuff, right? So here's the thing. Like if there are people from Bethesda listening, which 3-Bit says there is, okay? Which he would know. Whoever makes the decisions on when to release the game, right? I'm assuming it's Microsoft at this point, but maybe it's still Bethesda. There's got to be some kind of conversation between the two. I understand you put all your eggs in the basket when you said when Xbox had that show and it was 12-month showcase, and you already have Forza moving out of that. You already got Starfield. You can't take another hit there. When the game and when they announced that the 60 frames mode is not going to be there at launch, that let me know the game is not finished. The game is not optimized to the fullest extent, which could go also into other factors within optimization besides just that. It could have issues with the AI. You could have issues with bugs. You could have all of these different things. And it seems like some of that is permeating through a lot of the reviews, right? Does that mean that this game's going to be a flop? I don't know. The one thing you have at your disposal, and I'll say this to everybody at Bethesda that could be watching, is Game Pass is a tool that you can utilize now as long as you stick with this and actually give people a good experience, right? Because people will come back and play when you update these things. People will grow, and that's one thing. Xbox has had its failures before, and this is not an excuse. I don't like this as well, like put it out and fix it later mentality. But if you do put it out in a state that is unsatisfactory to the masses, and you want to still have this game be a success, there's other games within the Xbox ecosystem that have proven that can happen, right? Games like Sea of Thieves, right? You have games like Grounded, even though it was just a small experience and preview at launch, it's still grown to be a massive success over time.
And that's the thing with Redfall, it's not live service, so there's no incentive for them to keep going.
But they can still do it because they've also done this with other games that aren't live service as well. Like they've added updates, they've added quality of life features. Like they've done free updates to games, even just when they release a new console or whatever, and they've given people free content at times and all this stuff. I kind of go back to Sea of Thieves launch. I know it's not a live service game, right? But one thing that Sea of Thieves did is they made a promise about monthly updates to the game. Now that improved the game quality wise, but it also gave people extra content.
That game was like a brand new game from when it initially launched.
I mean, when it first came out, you just had
so-
islands and bananas.
I
Yeah.
would look at
You didn't have
Redfall
much.
still as an opportunity, right? Because I agree, like what Psycho said, there's a lot there that could make into something.
Oh.
Like you got vampires and looks like a cool world and all that kind of stuff. So you take the base of what you've done, you stay consistent with supporting the game, updating it over time, consistent updates. Go ahead and put out some content for it, you know, in a couple months. And then if you get some good feedback, do another one. If you stay with these games in this Xbox ecosystem, they can turn into something that they never were before, right? And Redfall has that potential, I think.
Oh yeah,
I think
definitely. Because
go ahead.
like there's an instance where there's like the like Division, there's like an echo where you see like past memories of what happened in the location. So there's a lot of good things with Redfall that I am seeing. Story seems pretty good. It's pretty solid. They have a good foundation there. There's just little bit of tweaking, and this game could be turned around for Arcane and the image with Xbox, and have something really great that people won't care. Yeah, the reviews are going to hurt it, but look at Sea of Thieves. Look how many people are playing that and how great that is. I know this is not a live service game, but that's one of those stories where a game that was released not at the best shape has grown into something amazing. And I think Redfall could be that game for future. That's for new customers, new gamers that have never experienced Redfall, and it's in Game Pass. Why not give that treatment and that support and respect that that Arcane and Bethesda puts that kind of love in their games? And because I guess like I said, I'm there's something missing, and I think if they keep on it, and I think they will get that this game where it needs to be and where it should have been. But it's behind us now, and we'll hope that Bethesda and Arcane and Xbox goes forward and
I just think
learns.
I just think for Redfall it might be a little bit more challenging because like Sea of Thieves, the type of game it was, they could constantly build on it. Like Redfall is
they have to go
more
the Borderlands route
story-based.
with DLCs.
Yeah, they'll have to. I'm not sure because it's a little bit harder for Redfall, and also I think that honestly, again, like Xbox needs to have a thing where we talked about this before, where their studios in the past with things like the old Fable, right? Where Xbox felt as a studio they were too involved with Lion's Head Studios to the point where they were forcing that studio out of their DNA. I feel like with this one, because of the 12-month window that they kind of hinge on themselves, that they were basically like, hey, we need to get this game out there. And we've seen, like, it's been a while since I've seen Xbox market games like they have with Redfall. And
I've actually seen more
billboards and
ads
stuff
in
of
the
it.
past week for Xbox than I have ever.
Yes.
I saw shit on Twitter. I saw shit on YouTube.
Yes.
Like I've been seeing Xbox everywhere.
Yeah, I have seen
they've
multiple.
been doing pretty good this year. But I still think like whenever you release a game and it's coming out of a first party, especially first party, it needs to have a subset of quality. And there's something I have super high standard. Maybe I shouldn't have, but like with Arcane, I have a pretty high standard for them just based on this. Just 2 years ago they released Deathloop, and that was a better experience on another platform. It was better experience on
AI
PlayStation
in Dishonored
Xbox.
from the 360 is better than the AI in this game.
Exactly. But I'm wondering if that was because this is their first time doing multiplayer, it's first time doing this big of a world.
First
Dishonored
time
was
on
pretty
Unreal, I
big.
think.
Yeah. First time in Unreal, maybe those problems did add up. I don't really know.
It doesn't, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what the issues that caused it were. All that matters is what we experience. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like, yeah, like at the end of the day, when I turn on the game, like I shouldn't have to worry about what's happening behind the scenes of Xbox. I should just be like, bam, I'm turning on an Xbox first party game. There should be quality. Pretty much. Like I shouldn't have to worry about, is this game going to be 60 frames? What happened to the developers behind, I should just,
as a consumer, right? When you launch a game, your thought shouldn't be like, oh, but they tried so hard. Oh, but they put so much work into this. Like, oh, bless them. Like, oh my gosh, I'm sure they'll get it next time. You're right. This was their first time doing it on this kind of thing. Oh, they've never done that before. I give them a pass on this one. Next time they'll get it right. My mind when I'm playing a game as a consumer, I'm not looking for issues, right? But like when these issues are blatantly out in your face, you don't like go and just make excuses for it to justify your purchase or your excitement or your hype that you've had over it. Almost like a self-defense mechanism about like, I can't look like an idiot because I've been preaching the praises of this game for months. I can't come out now and say that it's bad. Or I can't come out and say I want better because then I look like a fool. No, what you can do is you can say, hey, this blatantly sucks dick and this should not be sucking dick. Like I should be playing a smooth experience right now, or I should be playing a more polished experience or a fun game or whatever, right? And especially if a game is $70, like I get the whole Game Pass thing. Game Pass cannot be used as a crutch. Game Pass is almost even more important for Game Pass because you need quality in Game Pass. You can't have this mid-level type association with Game Pass as your identity, right? This is a huge release for them this year. Been marketing the shit out of this game all over the place. And regardless of what I might end up thinking when I play the game, whatever Jasper thinks, whatever Psycho thinks, or 3-Bit thinks, or anybody in the chat thinks, regardless of what you all think, and everybody has a right to enjoy the game that they want to enjoy and play what they want. Regardless, the overall consensus out there and the overall scores out there actually do matter because it puts a mark on Xbox and it puts a mark on Game Pass, and it loses a little bit of consumer faith about quality control, quality assurance. You can't release games that are going to launch that you marketed this heavily and they are dropping at 60s on Meta as an identity for your brand. It's just point blank, period, especially from first party, right? Where you actually have control, or you're supposed to have control over the quality that gets put out. That's one of the points of having the studios and acquiring them, because you need to make sure that those games come out to a certain standard, because that you give them the more time, you give them what they need to make it happen. If they needed another 6 months,
a year. Imagine what it looked like a year ago.
Give them 2 more years. I understand we're all being impatient and stuff at times because we're like, where are the games? Holy shit. But like at the end of the day, you can't just release stuff to release it for the sake of appearances and content. You got to stand behind the quality, number one. That's the most important thing. If you go to a restaurant and you wait on your food and they say it's going to be 20 minutes late and you're like, shit, okay, whatever, and that shit still comes out and it's ass, you're going to be even more pissed. But if it comes out and it's good, you'll believe, like, okay, it was worth it. It was worth the wait. Great. If it comes out and that shit's rank, send it back. What the fuck is this? I waited 20 minutes for this shit. Like, that's how it feels for a lot of people.
You get half
with
the
RedFall.
cake, half a drink filled, the straw is missing, no salt on your fries.
There's a bite out of my apple pie.
You order Taco Bell from DoorDash and you just get nachos. You're missing all your tacos.
Yeah, and then you get your buddy next to you who's like, it's good. I like it. Yeah, it's still good. I'm enjoying it regardless. Yeah, it was worth it. Why are y'all complaining? They tried. They tried to cook it good, even though it's moldy and
they tried
nasty.
Their best.
Like
there's multi-food.
Yeah, that'd be weird. Oh, have you seen Kitchen Nightmares? I'm sure it happens. There's just a certain level of expectations that I think gamers should have, right? And maybe this is about just preferences. I don't know. Maybe this is about preferences, but based on the overall consensus that I'm seeing out there, it seems like it's more than just that, right? It seems like there's more to this than just a preference situation, a style of game or whatever. Seems like stuff's
My opinion
missing.
could change.
AI is bad. All these kind of things.
AI is bad. That's one thing. Like, so like I played an hour of it. Again, I had some pretty crazy experiences where the vampires just stopped fighting me, and they're just like,
they just stand there.
What was I doing again? He's like, I'm gonna go patrol again. You know, they were acting really dumb. But maybe I'm just being very optimistic. Maybe after a couple hours it will be better. I don't know. But right now, the hour I played was like it was a very buggy. It's not what I expected out of Arcane. I fell through the floor. AI was like, it didn't feel good to play, essentially. But maybe it'll be better. I don't know.
God,
I did experience 2 vampires. I was just at parking garage, and 2 vampires are standing on the other side of the wall. I leap over it quietly, and I melee them 3 times in the back. They turn around, notice me, but they're standing there watching me, hitting them. And then the other one, I must have accidentally meleeed him, so I didn't stake the other guy. So I meleeed the other guy 3 times, staked him. The other guy got back up, and then turned around like I wasn't there. I was like, okay, that was kind of weird.
Yeah, it's almost the AI is so bad that the stealth aspects of this game is pointless.
I just put it on nightmare mode, and I'm just walking around.
I get I'm running most
around.
Difficulty options, they really don't increase AI. It's mostly just damage, which is lazy, but that's just how difficulty works in games.
Yeah, and so that's maybe that's what because I did say, how something was missing, and earlier, I think behind the scenes, I felt like there was no threat in the world. Like there's no threat of me seeing 2 vampires in an alley. Like, okay, I'm just gonna walk up to
stormtroopers. Like,
I'm gonna shoot them, and one's probably gonna evaporate behind me, so I'm gonna shoot him, spin around, shoot the other guy, stake him, turn back around, and finish him off.
The AI is like when you play Skyrim and you put a bucket on everyone's head and you can just go in and steal everything. That's what the AI is like.
I see the chat still. Shout out to Jason B saying that, Xbox, they said targeting 12 months at the showcase. The targeting 12 months.
We talked about this.
God. When I watch a showcase, I'm not looking at the disclaimer on the bottom of the marketing material that has the asterisk behind it. When Sarah Bond's on stage saying, this whole showcase is focused on games you're going to be able to play in the next 12 months, I'm going to take her at her fucking word. Now, I get it. Things happen. But the issue is here now there's 2 bad narratives around that show. One is either the games aren't going to hit the 12 months, like Starfield, like Forza Motorsport, or the other thing could be possible.
We still have a month.
Is that they do actually hit the 12 months and it's unfinished, and it feels like they just did it to make sure they hit the time period. So either one is a L. You just can't do that type of showcase again. The 12-month idea was stupid when they did it. We said it at the start. Putting this fake ass,
I said it right after we
thing
or
around
you just have to be realistic with your targeting, and they weren't realistic with their targeting.
Yeah, it was bullshit.
But it was just a dumb idea. Like, they restricted themselves, which they didn't have to do. We said this literally right after the show ended. I'm like, they could have shown a lot more of their catalog. That was pretty much what my review was after that show. Was like, they could have shown more of their catalog. They didn't really have to restrict themselves to 12 months. The fact that they restricted themselves to 12 months means what happens if they don't make that 12-month window. Redfall is a really bad example, in my opinion, to like them forcing the games to fit in the 12-month window to basically say like, hey, look, we did it. Like, I would rather them delay games out of that.
100%. So never do the 12-month thing, so you don't have to worry about that stupid thing that you said on your showcase, right?
I just think they need to be more realistic, because they should have known that Redfall wasn't going to make that before. Like, they should have known the Forza was going to make that.
So
before.
I got a question. If anybody from Bethesda's watching, how do y'all know this stuff? And who tells people when to make these release dates or like targets? Because somebody needs to get with the entire game industry and change that. because it is completely broken. Whoever makes targets or release windows and when you announce release dates doesn't know what the fuck you're doing, point blank period, because almost every single game is delayed. And half of the games that come out release, but they feel like they should have waited another 5 years still. So like, what the hell is going on? How can we not have like an idea of how to announce release dates in 2023 of gaming? We need to know like an idea of when a game's coming out, but like, don't make shit up just for the sake of it to try and save face. Like, I don't understand. Who is it? Who is making these decisions? Is there some like guy in a closet that they go to? Hey man, when do you think my game's coming out? I need to know. And like, okay, we'll try and meet that. Like, so they have to have an idea of where they're at, right? You would think.
I mean,
so.
They're letting players be the QA testers. That's what it feels like. Like they're releasing the games like, hey, thank you guys for playing our game, and you're gonna help us on this road to make sure we get better performance. Like they're letting you buy the game, and we're being the QA testers rather than them. That's what it
But
really
that's what early
feels
access is for.
And I get there's going to be bugs and there's going to be like some optimization things, and games going to get updates for years. But there's a certain state you don't release games in, right? Jedi Survivor was in that state. Jedi Survivor should have been delayed 100%. It got a free pass with the critics. Redfall didn't get that same free pass for whatever reason. However, it doesn't change the fact that it should have been delayed too. They should have had to put a sticker on the back of the box proclaiming that this doesn't have a 60 frames per second mode that's printed on the artwork, right? It shouldn't. They shouldn't have to do that. Like, that's just not something that should exist, right? So I don't know who needs to hear it, but you got to do better with that. You got to make sure you release the games at a certain level of quality. Otherwise, you're tarnishing your brand. You're tarnishing everything you're trying to build, everything that you've been promoting and building up and doing these showcases for. All this marketing, all this stuff is wasted when you come out there and put up a fucking 64 on the scoreboard. And that's just what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, you can't do it. You can't do it. Not first party, right?
Well, here's an odd question or odd comparison. Let's look at Deathloop, a game targeted for PlayStation where they had the 1 year exclusivity. Does anybody remember what Deathloop was like at launch in comparison?
Deathloop at launch was fine.
I
played it. It was really good. Yeah.
It was pretty much polished as far as I can recall when I was playing it on PS5, and it played even better when it came over to Xbox. Although I think there was like some sort of like glitching on either PC or something for a bit when they did the update on whatever that extension was for the, I guess, the invasion mode or something. But overall, that game, they did a delay, but it still came out, I would say, pretty bug free. Now, yes, the AI aren't the greatest.
Was that Arcane Lion or whatever, or was that
Austin? That was
a different Arcane.
Different Arcane, but it's still from the same quality control. Like even Ghostwire Tokyo going over to PlayStation came out somewhat more polished, or a lot more polished than what Redfall is coming out, at least from early, I guess, feedback and stuff like that. But it just seems like either the quality control threshold over at Xbox is not where it needs to be, or there's some other force behind the scenes that's like, okay, this is acceptable for now because our customer base will wait out the storm for updates and whatnot, because metrics show from Halo and from Forza that if something needs fixing, they'll continue to play, and we'll maintain that player base. So it's almost like they're afraid to put something a little less polished elsewhere, that's only elsewhere. And then if it comes to Xbox only, with the exception of Hi-Fi Rush, that came out of the box completely polished. I think the only patch they had to do was localization for Korea. But outside of that, it just seems like something is like that there's this acceptance or understanding that, yeah, we can fix it as we go. It's almost like they have the Ubisoft disease where it's like, all right, we'll put out Rainbow Six Siege, and yes, who cares if they have raptor legs and things like forever. That? Yeah. So it's a weird pattern. I won't say it's every studio, because Obsidian, I haven't seen that same deal from Obsidian. Turn 10, haven't seen that, although with Playground.
I
I've
think
seen it between
Obsidian
Horizon 4
makes
and
Outer
5.
Worlds, right? Because
What's that?
Outer Worlds, Obsidian makes that,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Same with
Yeah, that
yeah.
when that first came out, there was some bugs with that. I remember.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not like that's one game, and they've released several others that are fine. So it's just like, but I get it's
But
just
this
pointing
is
to
like
examples.
this one is like there's bugs, but I also think the game itself has like it has some issues. But like what I was gonna say with the studio thing with Lion's Head, if you guys watch the Xbox documentary, Xbox made sure that the DNA of their studios are that they're not basically involving themselves to the point where they're destroying what the studio wants to make. That's why with Rare, they kind of let Rare do what they want.
Well,
And
they
it
forced Rare to do
kind
shit
of
for a long time on the 360 era.
yeah, that I mean after that, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the point. Like they forced Rare to do like 360
Make Connect games.
Avatars, all that stuff. Yeah.
yeah, avatars and stuff. So what Xbox learned over time, like, hey, let's kind of let the studio flourish and do their own thing, which led to I don't know. We're sort of seeing what that's going to turn into. I still believe like after I've worked at Xbox Studios, they've been very hands off and let us flourish. So I can speak from firsthand. They were pretty good, but I'm wondering if this was the case for Redfall, if they
It
really
seems like what
forced them.
happens at Xbox is like whenever they have like I'm assuming they have like some kind of like quarterly check-in for the games that they're developing and funding. Like it seems like they're just getting told yes, and there's never like someone's like, well, we do have these problems, but it seems like they're just being like, yeah, everything's fine, it's working, it's all good, and
Yeah.
it's just yes men
Well,
all the way up.
That's
all
the
way up
issues
the
they had with Chris Lee actually that came out because he kept telling everybody, yeah, we're on track for Halo Infinite and all this stuff, and then like it came down to after that gameplay demo presentation was put out there, and they were like, oh, let's take a deeper look into this, and then they met with them, and it's like, oh, this is nowhere near done. Get Joe Staten on the line, right? He came in, he hacked and chopped it all up and stuff, and tried to get something out, and they delayed it a year. But that's a good point because like if you just have people that are like, yeah, we're great, hey, we're doing good over here, but then that leads to the question of quality control and assurance from who's overlooking those studios, right, to make sure that they're on track. And if you're not doing,
but are they the yes man?
Well, you need to have the person in place that's going to go to the studios and be involved and see the nitty gritty and find out what's actually happening, and not just get, yeah, everything's great over here, man. We're good to go. Don't worry about it. Oh, hey, by the way, 60 frames isn't going to be available at launch. I hope it's not too much of a problem. Then the Xbox like, yeah, we just got to make a bunch of stickers. Let's get a bunch of stickers. We'll put them on the boxes, everybody. No problem. They got to figure out some kind of way to make sure this happens. Now, I agree with Amit Kumar in the chat. Shout out to him. He said Flight Sim, Horizon 5, Halo Infinite, Pentiment, Psychonauts 2, Grounded. Didn't really have a lot of bugs. Infinite had live service issues, but most part
Halo Infinite had bugs. If you
it had bugs, but not like what we're talking
Not
about
like
here, right?
super.
But everybody was talking about how amazing the gameplay was with Infinite launch, right? He says, but most first party releases were solid. This is more of an outlier, and I agree with that. This is more of an outlier. The issue is it still happened, right?
Horizon 5 had a ton of bugs.
I think Halo
I don't think he played Horizon.
I still wouldn't put Halo Infinite on that list because you're still missing the ray tracing features and all the other shit they promised.
Yeah, they were missing the co-op. They were missing Forge mode. They're missing
like half like really important features.
But however, what we did get was fun. Gameplay was solid. I'll just say that, like, different than what we're experiencing with Redfall today. I got to get to some super chats, guys. I'm getting behind here. Thanks to Alvin, hit us with a $10 super chat. Said, for me, it's still my most anticipated. Can't wait to play solo Remy when I get off from work. But for Xbox, this game is a PR disaster so far. Just abysmal reviews. I can't have. Sorry, he didn't say I. He said, I can't have this for first party AAAs. I agree 100%. That's 100% my sentiment. And I'm happy that you're still hyped, Alvin. And again, I'm not trying to take away enjoyment. This is the point of the show is not to say you can't enjoy Redfall. I want each and every one of you 100%. Out there to make up your mind yourself. You don't have to have a hive mind mentality, right? Like
we remember like what happened with Quantum Break. Like reviewers didn't like Quantum Break. I loved Quantum Break. Ended up being one of those hit titles. So if you want to try Redfall, like don't. And it's fine to like trust our opinions and stuff like that.
And
Go
I still
try
think
it for
Forspoken's one of the best games that came out this year, but everyone fucking hates that game.
I hated Forspoken.
I'm going to say don't trust my opinion. Everybody's different. Every single person is different and likes different shit. Like I mean, honestly, like I think that part of a problem in gaming is that sometimes people listen to other people too much, really, and let that influence what they enjoy. Right. And so me criticizing this is more about this L that Xbox is taking here, not necessarily saying that you can't enjoy the game. Right. But there's glaring issues that have to be talked about because Xbox can't be having this. Alvin with the $5 super chat says Burning Shores runs effectively on a 2080 and looks like Da Vinci himself handcrafted it. No excuse for these other AAAs having terrible optimization. Yeah, Burning Shores DLC is mind-blowingly gorgeous. I'll agree with that. Tom from Toonami hit us with a $5 super chat, says there needs to be a change at Xbox. Look, at some point someone at Xbox management said, yep, good enough, and that's unacceptable, and it hasn't changed. Yeah, I wonder who that person is. I don't know, but this is not Matt Booty because it's Bethesda, so I don't know. Tom from Toonami.
There's a couple of
go ahead.
People that do it. Sorry.
Okay. What are their names, 3-bit? I need names. Okay, you can't say it. That's fine. Tom from Toonami with a $2 super chat says Xbox needs to hire a goon like an NHL. Just a guy to go, hey, you just get this shit done, man. Go get like Steve Ballmer or something. It's just like he's like a crazed maniac and just like sick him on the desk.
They need a Gordon Ramsay of the game industry to come into these studios.
Yeah, send them to Ace. Have a 48-hour like makeover. Like,
is it 60 frames yet? No.
You're an idiot.
What the fuck are you doing?
Look at your kitchen. It's all. Look at your desk. It's filthy. How can you work here?
You have Dr. Pepper cans all over the place. You can't even type on this desk. Get the fuck out of here.
You call this animation? Anyway, so yeah, and I gotta say also to this point about people making your own minds up, right? There was a comment on Twitter today. This kind of talk just like bugs the shit out of me. Kate even like had responded to it, and I was talking about like we gotta associate the game for being Xbox, right? This is an Xbox first party game. Like we can't like denounce that because it's not good all of a sudden. Oh my god, no, we can't claim this, right? Because I already saw some people saying, but Bethesda makes all the decisions and stuff like that. Like it's just no, like Xbox has got to be the ones
Xbox
to make
has
sure,
say in that.
yeah, the for the quality assurance and all that kind of stuff. So, and then I made another comment and I was saying, hey, is it too late to delay? Joking, because I knew what the reviews were headed based on the reports that were coming out. Person said, I can't remember the name. They were like, don't be like, he's a Mav. Don't be like Colt and Gaz. And I'm like, what? Like, first off, like, I like Colt and Gaz. If you want to say I'm like Colt and Gaz, that's a compliment to me because I think they're good guys. Whether you like their content or not, they're still people that I have some respect for. So, Colt and Gaz, hey, if you want to say I'm like those guys, whatever. But to insinuate that somebody is like my mentality or way of thinking is going to be like influenced from other creators or like other people or this whole thing permeates about people chasing clicks by making negative comments for clout, chasing clicks, and it's like all fake and stuff like that. And it's like, hey, don't be like these guys. Well, first off, I know Gaz like doesn't do that for sure, and I will not say that. I will say I've never done anything like that, and I never will. Any points that come from any of us are just our genuine own thoughts. Jasper says shit I don't agree with. Psycho says stuff I don't agree with. Fuzzy says stuff I don't agree with. 3-bit says stuff I agree with, and it goes for all of us, right? And that's why we have fun discussions.
You only agree with 3-bit?
No, 3-bit says stuff I don't agree with all the time. But the point is, like, we all have our own individual opinions, and I want everybody out there to have your own individual opinions too, regardless of what we say. Now, sometimes we agree. Like, I see a lot of people in the chat saying, I uninstalled this shit after playing 5 minutes, right? So apparently you guys agree. Some aren't, and that's going to be cool too. But like, there's not like this fake like thing going around where we try and like make this stuff just for the sake of it.
Usually
It's
get
like
a lot of backlash whenever we say negative things about Xbox, because I would say most of our audience is Xbox based. So whenever we are like, hey, Xbox, you need to fix some things, like we actually got major backlash when we said, hey, Xbox shouldn't charge for gold. If you guys remember that. People are like, how dare you criticize Xbox? They could do what they want. They should. And then like a couple days later, Xbox was like, actually, we're gonna reverse that decision. Like, we're gonna say things from our perspective as best as we can without like, without that high mentality. I've always been in the camp with like reviews. You can use reviews as a base opinion, but if you really love vampires, love first-person shooters, check it out. See if you end up liking it. I will state my opinion of what I think. I think it's buggy. I think it needs some work. It needed more time in the oven. That's my opinion. But I never want to like fake things for anybody watching the shows. Like we
if
get
anything, we
random
would give
hate sometimes,
Xbox
but
more leeway, I think, because we're all kind of
yeah.
Xbox biased here. Like, if
Yes,
anything, they would
we
get more
all,
leeway from
everybody
us.
here, we this year we were like, hey, 2023 is the year for Xbox. We're all super excited for the vision of what Game Pass is going to be, et cetera, et cetera. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna cap for a $1 trillion corporation. Like, if I feel a certain way of things they can improve on, I'm going to say it. I am an Xbox fan, but I'm not an Xbox fanboy. I'm not gonna, if I see things that should be improved or I think should be improved upon, it's only going to help them at the end of the day. Like, some people think that like holding your critiques, like, oh, I guess it's okay. Like, they are looking at feedback like this. So we had two people, I don't know if they're still here. We had two people from Bethesda's watching this show, right? And I'm telling you guys, like, they look at podcasts, they look at comments and stuff to see what they can do better internally. So like, by staying silent and just sort of like glossing over issues, it never does any
I'm sure
justice.
they heard this shit today.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I know. But like, it's better to say something than to just let things gloss over. Like, 100%.
Exactly.
I always said like Xbox is in the camp, at least compared to Nintendo and Sony. Xbox at least has some leeway of they're somewhat listening, right? You don't know what the heck you say something about PlayStation 5, you don't know where that feedback is going. You may never hear anything like there's no PlayStation higher up saying something like, oh, maybe we should look into this. Like, you don't hear it.
Sony's opinion box goes straight into the garbage.
Yeah, they're like, oh, thank you. We don't like the fact that you can't play your PS5 or PS4 controller and PS5. Oh, thank you.
It's like one of those
And
anonymous boxes you slip a paper in, and it's just a trash can at the moment.
Yeah, it's just like, so something I can give credit to for Xbox is they are somewhat listening, but it doesn't help to not say any constructive criticism. We always try to do things from like a balanced point of view, but we are going to say things that people may not agree with. We had the show about I forgot what it was, but we had people unsubscribe from this channel. We had people
I think
like
it was
message
30
me.
FPS.
Was it Red?
Yeah, it was
probably
Yeah, about the 30
Redfall.
FPS. Yeah.
We were mad about the 30 FPS. We had people coming
which
like,
fine.
"Hey, how dare you say stuff?" We're gonna have moments where we love Xbox. There's a lot of things I love about Xbox, but there's also things I'm going to come out and say. But that's all I wanted to say there, because I feel like it's happened so many times with different topics of like people sort of like bashing us just for having an opinion or even speculating. Like, people got mad at us like at speculating what could happen in the future. Like, why are you guys mad about that? It's so weird. But we're just gamers at the end of the day. We love games, of course, and we are just going to say things from our perspective, and we love you guys for tuning in every single week in the comments, looking at our stuff. We appreciate you all, but we're always going to say things from our perspective, whether you guys hate it or love it. So
yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, we
My
definitely.
rant is over.
I definitely say give this game a try. You might love it, you might not, but you can't say you can't criticize a game if you haven't tried it yet. So that's one thing that I've always tried. If there's a game that I am able to play, uh, I'm going to try it out. Especially with Game Pass, that gives you the opportunity to try the game out. And that's the benefit of having the Game Pass, is that if you spent that $70 on this game, you would have been upset with that purchase. But because you tried it in Game Pass, now you have an opportunity to, okay, I liked what I played so far, but I'm going to wait for some patches or some new content or something down the road. You can, and there's other things to play. That's the beauty of Game Pass, and that's what Xbox pretty much wants, is your engagement in the games of Game Pass. So just try this game out. That's all we're trying to say at the end of the day. That's why you guys come to the shows and you want to get to see what we have to say about everything in gaming. And for me, I was critical at first. I loved the game, and then the 30 FPS, I was very critical about it. And now I enjoy the game. 60 FPS would make this game a lot better. But there's tweaks that Arcane needs to do to really solidify this gaming experience that is Redfall. And I hope that they get to it and fulfill their dream of what this game is, because they have something here. And that's all I have to say.
right on, man. I was responding to something. So I don't know how the game is, right? All I can see is what it's at. So I hope that those of you that are getting it are gonna play it in Game Pass, enjoy the game, and I hope that when I play it at some point that I enjoy it. But we got to figure out, or Xbox has got to figure out a way to not allow these kind of situations to happen. And I see a lot of people just say it's bias. I see a lot of my Xbox brethren out here that love Xbox who it's just not really digging the game also, right? So I can't say that either. I don't think it's a bias thing. I think just like this game ain't really sitting well with people.
There's a lot of people that are saying that, though. That's
Crazy.
Honestly,
when I like think of a game, I don't give a shit who makes it. It could be Xbox, it could be EA, it could be anyone. I play the game for the game itself. Like I don't care who's making it. If the game's shit, it's shit. If it's good, it's good. Like that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
It's still people okay, understand this stuff. People that don't see the double standard between Jedi Survivor and Redfall still is a thing. Like I don't know. It's like people like, but Jedi Survivor is a good game. Yeah, I get that, but you can't fucking not point out all of the technical issues in it, and then on the other end, when you review another game, what you do is just point out the technical issues. It's just, that's the thing. I'm not judging. When I made that point before, I'm not talking about score. I'm talking about the written words in your fucking reviews, sitting there talking specifically about all these points in Redfall, which has better performance than Jedi Survivor. Which has better performance and optimization than Jedi Survivor. Let that sink in. No mention of all the issues that Jedi Survivor has had. Redfall filled with it in the reviews. Just review after review, just talking about optimization, unpolished, all this stuff, right? Filled with it. And it just all the reviews are just talking about. So like what I'm saying is like there's a double standard with the reviewers and deciding which games to make specific points about or not. Like either you care about the technical aspects and the optimization and performance, or you don't. Pick one, right? Like, and make it a standard. If you aren't going to talk about it, don't ever talk about it. If you are going to talk about it, always talk about it, right? But you can't just decide Redfall, we're only going to talk about it with this fucking game. And then Jedi Survivor come out, which is one of the worst like PC ports ever, supposedly, and also has optimization and performance and bugs on consoles, and not talk about it at all. And when you were given a fucking list from the publisher of known issues. It doesn't make any damn sense.
That was a list of stuff you couldn't talk about. See, that's the thing you're getting wrong there. This list, you can't talk about it. That's the list they gave him.
But Jedi Survivor's good and Redfall's bad. That's the difference. No, that's not what I'm saying.
Jedi fun.
Morons. God. People.
Again, it's weird. Like, I agree with you, man. The fact that like these big reviews opted not to talk about performance because it's fun. It was really weird to me that they opted not to talk about performance because they trusted EA out of all developers. Like, we know EA's history of, anyways, trusted
the
EA
Jedi mind tricked the whole industry.
That's insane. But yeah, there should be some standard. If you're gonna talk about like Jedi not having issues, and then with Redfall, yeah, I completely agree.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like they gave a list, Xbox didn't, so it was like, okay, well, we have a list of what is the problem, and we know that they're fixing it, so we're gonna be. I think it was they love Respawn because it's the old Infinity Ward studio. It was Dave Zampella. Right?
Dave?
What's his name? Vince Zampella.
You saw making up names list.
Yeah, it's what happens when you get old. So I think there's a lot of that nostalgia for that studio and the people behind it. As with Xbox, that Xbox One stigma has still, Xbox hasn't shook it off, and these little hiccups with Halo Infinite, Redfall, the 12-month window showcase, it's just one, it's like it can't shake off that last generation until I'm hoping with games with Starfield and Forza Motorsport and future games that are coming out, and maybe they're not focused because of the ABK deal. Who knows what really is going behind the scene here? But whatever it is, they need to focus on that brand and keeping, because that's the one thing people look at Sony and PlayStation, they think quality, and when they think of Xbox, they don't for some reason. I mean, there are some games they put out that weren't like top notch, but at the same time they have put out great games, and they just need to work on that image right now. And stuff like what's happening with Redfall is kind of not helping. And would it have been worse if they delayed it? Who knows? This game could have been, if they delayed it to October, which I hope that they would have done, because at that point you're getting a vampire game around the Halloween, which goes hand in freaking hand, and that gives you 6 months more polish, which I guarantee this game could definitely use. It could have used it. And yeah, would it have sucked? Yeah. Would it have been another game out of the showcase, 12-month showcase? Yeah, that all been negative. But
it would have been negative for a different reason. It would have been negative about messaging and marketing, as opposed to
not game quality.
Exactly. Which is you can't have that, in my opinion.
That's worse.
That's much worse, for sure. Well, everybody,
Or they would have had both in October.
Listen here, Jasper.
possibly.
Probably like some of the thing, like while there's bug issues, there's certain things with the game, like the AI itself, maybe that could have been
needs a
fixed with
lot of time.
polish. It needs a lot more time. So even if they did have it in October, I will hold a little bit of my judgment. I'm gonna play it a little bit more, but from what I played out of the hour, the intro is usually supposed to be the most polished part. You're like being introduced to the world. That
Maybe
was
it's just
the
like the
roughest.
boss, like the strong enemies are super smart. I don't know.
Maybe, but they were really dumb from what I played. Hopefully it gets better. GamePassDad was saying like the intro was pretty rough, and he said, what did he say? He said first hour was rough for me. Now I'm getting addicted. It's sad to see games launch like this though. So maybe after that first hour it'll get a little bit better. We'll see.
Could be. And like I said, there's a lot of 65 games I like. You know what I mean? So it's not that it's just when it's a big release like this though, like it's just
I just had
Maybe
really
it's
high
not
expectations.
Maybe this game in co-op has a completely different feel too. Maybe it feels a lot better in co-op too. I don't know.
yeah.
Like
I'm gonna install it in my
Yeah.
PC and see what frame rate I can get and see how that goes. Hey, Xbox is getting a new UI.
Yeah, and I have it.
Yep.
You have it already?
Yeah.
Is it
Yes,
nice?
sir, I do. Oh my god, chat! Holy fucking shit!
They finally
About
did it.
time, dude. So okay, I will say this: the advertisements at the bottom, those blocks are still somewhat big. They're just little smaller, but your actual game icons are freaking like a quarter of the size until you hover over it, and then guess what? It expands like we've all were saying. So they have up top. Here, I'll go to the dashboard.
yeah, instead of now cutting off 75% of the screen, it now just cuts off like 40% of the screen.
Yeah. So so I'm using the Fallout 4 dynamic background, and I can see pretty much from his chest up in the of the actual dash. And at the top they have your name, your gamer tag, whatnot in the left corner, and then at the very top middle it's my games and app, the store, Game Pass, search, and settings in the center top, and then in the far right is time, battery life, and if you have
Did they do anything when you hit the guide button?
it brings up the guide as normal.
Okay.
Let's see, customize the guide. That's the same thing. So
and then when you scroll down, it's like it's kind of normal, right? Like
then it went back to the original customize your dash, so you can add your pins,
like pin stuff, and
your games, movies. Like I have there's other thing, and it's like a mixture. So they added what's coming to Game Pass, your friends in the community update, your pin movies, your pin games, and it has things to watch and listen. So it looks like they got deals right now for Apple TV, 99-cent game rentals from if you have Game Pass, fresh from the theater section, Prime Video.
Yay.
Then they have at the bottom is Ubisoft, and what those popular Game Pass games, then Ubisoft staff picks, and then like day one releases, comic worlds, and it looks like Marvel Alliance 1 and 2 is on Xbox now. So
Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2.
yes.
Wait, that got removed. Is that back on? Because if it is, I'll buy that shit.
Yeah,
that shit got removed forever ago.
Show in the store.
Drop some news. What the heck? What are you talking about?
Okay,
you break
it
an
says
NDA?
no. So right now it says currently not available. So what I'm thinking is it's there, but because I'm in the preview Xbox Insider preview program, it's not live yet because it's
who made that game?
Activision.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Interesting.
But that's still.
That shit got like removed for licensing issues like
yeah. So
a year or
it's in
two
there.
after it came out on
Yeah,
Xbox
we've
One.
seen like Candy Crush show up on the Microsoft Rewards section also, and you click on it, it's like no content available and stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
weird.
So it seems like they're preparing.
Yeah. So
maybe a little
that's up
too
there.
much.
So there's dark fantasy and all their bullshit. But I'll take a picture of this.
Yeah, to screenshot that. You need to tweet that. That's like
Yeah, can you?
I
what the
want to
heck?
see that.
That's
Well, the question I have is it a feature you can turn off as far as like, you know how the game tiles, I think Clobril was showing like it changes the background. Is that like a feature you can turn on or off, or
What's that? The
the background changing when you are hovering over like a different game tile?
No, your dynamic background stays.
Okay.
It does not change. So like if I went over it's not like PlayStation where you go over Redfall, it brings up that now it changes the Redfall game image. So that does not happen. All it's like I'm over Redfall right now and it's showing the dynamic background.
Treybone says the Marvel Ultimate Alliance has been in the store bug, not available for like 2 years.
Yeah, it's because it's delisted, but if you still own it, you can download it.
Right.
So like it's still there to search. That's why it's still in the store. But it's
yeah, but I mean it's on my dash. It's not like I went to look for this.
It's weird. Like, is it just being marked? Like, what is it? I gotta see the picture. Just show me the picture.
I did. It's in our DMs.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm gonna have to look at that.
I turned up my Xbox to look it up.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So,
whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I'll show you the.
Do you don't own those games, do you?
I might have when I had a 360, but
yeah, those were Xbox One remakes though.
But it's still like the way it's showing. That's kind of
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe if you owned it, like that's why it's showing up. So,
but why is it in its own like comic world section like that?
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, they've had those categories before, not necessarily comic worlds, but they do
for
different...
a game like that's delisted though.
That's why I was like wondering if he owned it, because if he owns it, then it could maybe show up.
Yeah, but I'd have not owned it since. I think I had it pirated. I was a mod. I did mods for the 360, so.
And Calarie said he clicked on it and said not available, so he doesn't own it.
Yeah, I guess.
So,
that's maybe that's just a weird like glitchy thing that with their store or whatever,
or something that's coming,
or it's probably, since it's Comic Worlds, they probably just went into their filters when they made the category and typed in comic and then that showed up. Yeah.
It's weird that those were the first ones though, because the other games that you see first in the categories are more relevant, you know.
Yes.
But yeah, it's probably some kind of filter bug. I agree with that. Let's see what else was there. Yeah. So overall, you know, that's good news. It's interesting they put that that news kind of came out today, and it was shown. Didn't they also announce a new controller or something today as well?
Oh God, the OPI. It's the OPI nail polish controller.
Oh, don't tell Kate. She's gonna want that.
Well, it's like an ugly orange.
Oh, never mind.
That's like a yellow.
Yeah.
It's a yellow.
Is that yellow? 3-bit? That looked orange as fuck to me.
I forgot.
That looked like your light orange in your background.
Yeah, it does. Hold on, let me. Where is that?
They posted it earlier.
Like, I seen like an influencer was sharing about it.
Yeah,
I don't know where that is.
Do y'all think?
Amen.
Do y'all think that when games launch like that with the response that Redfall's got, it puts like doubt over future games?
Well, that's the issue. Well, that's what the notion that kind of comes off of Xbox, that it's like, it's not a big deal. But to new gamers or existing gamers on other platforms looking in, they see this and they're like, it's same old Xbox. Why do I need to go back? if I really need to play an exclusive, they're putting it on PC, and I don't have to spend that.
It just feeds back into that narrative that's existed for a long time that they need to break out of.
Then that's
100%.
the issue that it's like they try at the beginning of the generation, they were doing great and they were getting away from that. But
there's a whole saying, perception is reality, right?
Yes.
Because regardless of what you feel or what you're enjoying, if enough people see something as a certain thing, then it gets put into that category and the effects are the same regardless if it's warranted or not, right? So that's the detriment of trying to break out of that, which I think Xbox done a great job breaking out of what they experienced back in 2013 when they got to this point. They're still having these growing pains right now. And even simple things like finally getting this UI fixed, something we've been asking for like ever since the Xbox One launched. Finally, we're finally getting there, and they've given us so many iterations until now. But I feel like quality control over games is something we hadn't really been that concerned with, honestly. If you're actually familiar with the first party games and the reviews that come out and all that stuff. I mean, 2021 they were Publisher of the Year, highest overall rated publisher. Also had a lot of games that year. 2022 sucked ass with a lack of content. We're all hoping for a great 2023. So far, it has been really good. You got games like Hi-Fi Rush, Shadow Drop. You have Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition. You have Minecraft Legends, which is pretty solid. You have, there's one more that Ghostwire Tokyo is good, even though for some weird reason it performs slightly better on PlayStation. I don't understand that. But besides that, those things, which a lot of those games don't count to some people for whatever reason, they count for me, and then we got Redfall, which was the big one. This was a big one a lot of people were looking forward to. So that's why this kind of stings, for Microsoft, for Xbox. And then we still got Starfield coming around the corner. You still got a lot of third-party awesomeness. So there's a lot of great things to play. Right now, I'm not really concerned about Redfall because I'm loving the shit out of Dead Island 2. And I'm loving Jedi Survivor and its jankiness right now. So I'm gonna play those two games and keep playing the show. And but I'm more curious than anything about Redfall just because of how much this is blown up. So I want to check it out if I can on my PC, but I ain't playing it at 30. So we'll see if that's my barometer on my PC. Ain't happening. So we'll see, and I'll go from there. But it's time to move on past this conversation because we also have one more segment to get to on this show. And that is Tidbits. All right, everybody, this is Tidbits, the segment here on FSP, where we look ahead at the games releasing this week. And there's some bigger games releasing this week, but there's not a lot of games releasing this week. So we'll get to talk about those. One of them we've been talking about for this entire damn show. But let's start off with our first one here. Let me get it brought up. Hey, it actually worked pretty solid there with me guessing on the size of the video. Okay, here we go. Age of Wonders 4. I want this game. It sounds pretty awesome. I think Jez even made a tweet about it. I know our buddy Pong Soul is.
Yeah, he bought this over Dead Island and Star Wars.
He can't wait for this, and he's kind of sold me on it. So I'm gonna be probably getting it as well. And this is on, let's see, what platforms is this one on? I lost my
PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and PC.
Right on, and it's $50, and it comes out tonight probably.
Yep.
On the date's listed as a second. So this is a 4X strategy game. Pong kind of said it's sort of like Civ, but mixed with some RTS. Or traditional RTS as well, or tactics stuff. So I'm kind of looking forward to it. It's a game, the type of game that traditionally would miss consoles. This generation, we have seen a lot of these kind of games start coming to console. So if you like strategy games, Age of Wonders 4 should be something you should keep an eye on. It looks
good
gorgeous
too.
Yeah, gorgeous.
You just like it because they did all the swirls on the end of the letters to make the logo like more like Flare it out
Yeah,
there.
more customized. Yeah. There you go. See, Jasper, you're getting it. Some good logo design.
Instead of just using Arial font or whatever.
Yeah.
Comic Sans.
No. This looks really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Calarie says, yeah, Jez said this game is amazing and doing really well as a AA level game. Yeah.
Oh, Age of Wonders.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to get it, but
Who made Age of Wonders?
It's a Paradox game, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh.
it looks really good. Almost had that black and white feeling.
Which is the old Peter Molyneux game, right?
Oh yes, it is. Where you had the like
There's
I don't know if
gods and
they-
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, you had gods. It's like a wolf or a cow or a cheetah and whatnot, but it kind of has that god look where
Yeah.
you can fight for
This
you.
next game is Redfall.
And it's
You may have heard us talking about it
$70
the
or-
entire show.
Yeah, $70 or Game Pass day one.
Oh.
It's definitely Game Pass.
Interesting
I
thing
really
about
like
Redfall.
Layla's design.
Regardless of anything, this will still be the most played arcane game ever, I think.
I think so.
Especially even like with the bad media, everyone's going to want to try it for themselves to see
Yeah.
how bad it is. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
somebody's going to get hooked on it and not want to admit it. Like,
yeah.
I'm going to go check out this piece of shit game everybody's talking about. Ooh, I actually like it pretty good. It's,
Yeah,
I can't tell anybody.
Vampire.
Can't tell anybody. Though.
I wish they had more stake animations. That's what something I forgot to say. Like when you're
Stake.
staking somebody into heart.
Oh, well, yes,
I
And-
really wish they had more
and
animations.
takedown execution animations as
They
well.
have one animation and one voice line for the open world stuff. So what do you
Yes,
want? I
it's
mean,
one and it's like and that's
you
it.
stab him and it's like, I got the dust on me. You stab him, I got the dust on
Which one says that so I can make sure I don't pick them?
Lila.
Okay.
Lila, the chick.
Yeah.
Is it Lila or Layla?
Lila.
Layla.
Tomato.
Got me on my knees, Layla.
I got dust on me.
Spend a lot of time on your knees, Psycho?
Oh man, it's a song, bro.
Oh, okay.
Oh, man.
I don't want to fall in this hole, so I'm not gonna go there.
Okay. Slay alone or slay together, as what this trailers. Or
Yeah, I do like the elevator thing also. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, because right now I could use that.
You have to like jump on her. That's pretty rad.
Wow, they went into a hallway and they had 5 dudes shooting at him. I wish that was my game.
Yeah, what build is this?
In a weird way, in a weird twist, do you think this game may have been better off if it was like a Back for Blood type clone or like a Left 4 Dead clone or something instead?
It could have been more focused, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I really want a good vampire game. Like I love vampires. I love werewolves. I love stuff like that. So I like.
Vampire
I was geeking out.
Survivors.
That was that wasn't really good.
No, they're making a is it a movie or a show?
Yeah,
based on-
I think they're making a movie or show something like that.
yeah.
That
that's
is a
cool.
good game though. That is a
You
good
know what would be awesome with Vampire Survivors? Sorry, but a Castlevania team up.
Didn't yeah, they had that in Dead Cells.
Yeah, Dead Cells. Yeah,
Super Dungeon Maker on Switch and PC, $20.
I think
Comes
it'd be
out
cool to have
Wednesday.
like a Castlevania first person game. Like, I don't know.
Mm,
Kind of like a
What is
Wolfenstein,
this?
like take it how Wolfenstein went and just like run through a castle. I don't know.
Oh, look at this generic
be interesting.
font. I'm not for it.
Yeah, if you were a reviewer, 3-bit, like you would just talk about the font, and you would be like the one reviewer that always talks about the fonts.
The font
Yeah,
is terrible,
probably.
and the skybox they just got from stock images off Google. Fuck this game.
He would spend 80% of the article just talking about UI and stuff like that.
Probably me and Amit Kumar. Like it's like I have to look at font and logos and stuff all day, so it like pops out to me like you're just using some generic font, like bro.
Yeah.
I
I still
can't
want
help
the names for you for who to blame for the quality control at Xbox at some point, 3-bit. You gotta let those
Maybe
slip.
I'll leak some of it.
Next up, everybody, we got Ravenlock. This is a Game Pass, isn't it? Day one as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
$25, and it's releasing on the 4th. Also, a game that did just come out was Last Case of Benedict Fox, which a lot of people are enjoying and nobody's talking about. So if you are not liking Redfall, another Game Pass game you can look forward to is that one, or also Ravenlock.
Yeah.
Looks
Benedict Fox
interesting.
is actually pretty good. It's just I decided to hop over to Survivor, but I think I'm gonna go back to Benedict until some of these patches come out for Survivor.
Yeah.
Oh, I really like the art style in this. What is this?
Ravenlock.
Oh,
Yeah.
They had
pretty-
another game like a year or so ago.
Yeah,
that was almost
Calarie
like a
pointed it out. Echo Generation.
yeah.
Love that game, by the way. That game was phenomenal. Great little pixelated RPG that looks and has that what's that game movie Netflix.
Kind of has like a
Stranger
Inmate
Things
vibe.
Yeah.
has that Stranger Things like eeriness to it. It is, if
Yeah.
you like RPGs and that kind of like weird kind of supernatural, check Echo Generation. Phenomenal.
Well, it looks like this game a lot of people might be kind of excited about. So check that out. That's it for the games this week, though, guys. There may be some that were missed on some of the websites. and
There
stuff
wasn't.
Like that. There wasn't.
Too many, to be
Okay.
honest.
Everybody
there
was getting out of the
small
way
shit.
of Redfall this week. Who would have thought? Yeah. 3-bit. This is your segment now before we leave for the night. Want to give you the floor. It's time to leak the Xbox showcase.
What is it?
You got
No,
15
not
minutes.
ready.
Just you talk, and we'll just all stay quiet and let you go. Okay.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
I know nothing.
I know nothing. I did work on the last showcase. I will admit that. It was really fun. Met some good people.
Was it your idea to do the
Do you
12
know
months?
I like the idea 3-bit, but you got to get better execution on that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't agree with the 12-month thing. That was like the 12-month thing, I think, was before I joined.
3-bit
I
probably
definitely
put
was
the
like-
disclaimer down there on purpose. He was like, I gotta give them some kind of edge where I say targeting.
I work with the fonts all the
Hey.
time, so I decided to just make it really small at the bottom of the screen. So
Hey, you guys didn't notice it, so hey, it worked.
Yeah.
Worked out. No, the team who worked on the developer direct, I'm pretty sure they're working on the June showcase, so
Nice.
that's a good sign.
Ooh, that could be
so-
interesting information.
I don't know if I leaked something just now, but
Yeah.
that's
it's not really a far stretch. Assume the people that make
Yeah.
the shows make the shows.
Yeah, I would say.
yeah,
that.
but yeah, I'll just stop talking.
Thank you for that.
I just want to see more Forza
Thanks, buddy.
Motorsport with a release date.
Yeah.
I will say because of Redfall's launch, there's actually more pressure now on Xbox to have a good show than there was before.
For sure.
Whether
That's
it's
one
not
of my
like
things,
there's
yeah.
no doomsday. Xbox can be fine regardless. Here,
This
you
is
know what I
also
mean?
their
But-
last game coming up before the show, I think, too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
If they have maybe
Uh,
Game Pass games, when
Yeah,
but not nothing first
Not
party.
I
their-
want to see
thing.
updates on all the games that was in that showcase. Was it a year ago? Was that 2 years ago?
2 years. 2 years ago.
Good thing is CFCs will probably be here. So will Minecraft. So
Yeah.
Now, do you think it's just going to be the previously released Minecraft stuff, or their third? Because I'm hearing there's a third, spin-off in the works.
I think
And
they
if you
have.
look at the titles, I'm figuring it's something with the letter C in it.
I think they have a big like Minecraft expansion to like the regular Minecraft coming out like this year. So they'll probably show that off.
So instead of bees, it'll be like earthworms or something. Or
Yeah, something like that. I forgot what it is, but I saw it like a couple months ago.
Hmm.
It may already be out. I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
But I want those games. There's a lot of games that Xbox has in the works, and this is the time for that team to showcase what they got. That's all I'll say. I'm excited for the June showcase.
Are you excited for Bethesda's part of it?
Yeah. I'm really excited for Bethesda.
Okay.
So
cool. Awesome. All right, guys. Hey, 3-Bit, where can everybody find you?
Everyone can find me on the Bird app, at Twitter at i3bit. I post my opinions and lately gym stuff, and that's about it. So you can find me on there. I haven't been able to do my show lately because I've been working on a couple commercials right now, but I'm hoping to do it maybe this Wednesday. So look out for Ask3Bit. I'm on this show, and occasionally I pop up on Xbox Ultimate on Fridays. So I will see you guys then. Everybody in chat, you guys are amazing. Love y'all. Thank you guys for dropping by. Make sure you like video on the way out. It helps grow the channel, and the channel has been growing like crazy every single episode. So it's been really cool to see from us having like 12, 15 viewers to you guys like growing a community, and you guys are consistent and you're here. We see you. Love y'all. And I'll see you guys on the next episode.
Yeah.
Any gardening updates anytime soon?
No, but I do want to do more gardening. That was really fun. I'll send you guys some updates, some pictures I did take that day though, if you guys are interested in gardening. So,
Right on.
Yeah.
Yay.
why not?
I'll do my gardening on a game where I have to farm or something. That's where I'll do it.
Bully had the best lawn mowing. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
Bully's lawn mowing was, that was sick. I would get in detention on purpose.
Running over students with a lawnmower.
I wish you can. You're stuck in that little area. I'm Bully. You get detention.
Slipspace Game says we hit 74 likes. Now we're at 76. Everybody, I appreciate you all. If you do like the content here, hit the like button, share it out, sub to the channel, hit the notification bell. Helps us grow. Thank you so much. Fuzzy, where can everybody find you?
Oh, just awesome being on here with you guys tonight. For all those who want to hear my rambles or rants, mainly on broken games in general, just follow me on Twitter at fuzzy_Belvedere. You can also find me on Breakfast with Boom, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, on Double Barrel Gaming, and then on Xbox Ultimate right back here at the family at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday evening. Look forward to seeing you guys there.
Right on. Thanks, Fuzz. Oh yeah, Victor Allenstein with the $2 super chat says that Navy SEALs team game that Wario leaked. Yeah, there was an NFL player that got drafted, and he was asked about in an interview after he got drafted, he was asked about a deal that he had made with Microsoft for a game. So I get this guy. I guess his dad has been involved with stuff like this in the past, and with movies or something like that, or his friend was. I didn't get everything, but he was. I guess the interviewer asked him what this deal he signed with Microsoft was all about, or something. So he kind of described that there's this like SEAL Team 6 that like travels through time to stop people from trying to change time, or something like that. So who knows? This could be a new first party game. It seems like it, unless the interviewer was wrong, but we'll have to wait and see, I guess. 3-Bit, do you know anything about this game? No.
It wouldn't surprise
No.
me if it's
Okay.
like he just said Xbox, but he actually meant PlayStation.
Well, the guy said Microsoft specifically.
Oh, okay.
Like the interviewer did. The interviewer must have known about it, or maybe he was talking to the kid before the interview went live, before they started recording, and then like he asked him about it or something. I'm guessing. You know, I don't know. Anyway,
No idea.
Psycho, where can everybody find you?
Chat, great to have everyone come out today, and great conversations and that we had today. And you guys can find me on social media under Psychonauts 8. And you can find me every Monday here at 10 o'clock in the FSP and 10 o'clock in Xbox Ultimate on Friday. Thank you, everybody. And have a great night. 3-bit. Awesome to have you on the show tonight.
Awesome to have you. Good, sir.
And Jasper, where can everybody find you, sir?
Yo. Check it out. It's Lord Jasper on Twitter, Lord Master Jasper on YouTube. I dropped a Starfield video, I think Friday, so check that out if you want to. Other than that, AI game news on Twitter for the latest gaming updates. And then Monday and Friday, right here, 10 o'clock Eastern time with FSP and Xbox Ultimate on the Fun Speculation Network. Yo.
Yo. Appreciate it, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. Have a good one. I'll see you all later on PM in the PM, Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern with Pong Soul and I. And oh boy, am I curious what Pong Soul is going to have to say about Redfall. This is going to be fun. And then Fridays at 10 p.m. Eastern, like these fellas said, on Xbox Ultimate Podcast. Have a good one, everybody. Peace out. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Later.
Hey.
Play